Hi Paddy,
Hello.
welcome to Sudeep Audio's channel.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Musician is no longer a musician alone. He or she also needs to understand the importance of data analysis, correct?
Yeah, it's always good to do that, or you appoint a manager or get a friend who's good at that to help you out with that. Absolutely.
Because the artist का tool जो आपने दिया हुआ है Spotify पे, it's brilliant in every way. And then it is for the musician to come up with another release to in order to become popular and generate revenue.
Absolutely. And this is the data that an artist always wanted, right? And of course, it's presented in stats and presented in numbers. Sometimes artists are not too convinced about reading data like that, but it's presented in the simplest forms. And according to me, it answers that one question that an artist always had. I want to know what my audience is listening to. I want to know what my audience is doing. What do they like about me? What do they not like about me? How much should I improve? What should I be doing? Which is the audience that I should be catering to? What is my next song going to be about? Where should I go and play? All these answers are there on that app. So either you use it on your own as an artist who wants to do things on your own, or you appoint a manager who can do it for you, or as you keep growing, there's a good chance that as part of your growth level, you're moving out of doing independent music with aggregators to actually get signed on by a label. Then the label will handle all this for you. So everything is good, and yeah, I think you should just take it as a blessing.
So like staff notation पढ़ने को आता है, ये stats भी पढ़ने को आना चाहिए.
हाँ, नहीं आया तो भी कोई और पढ़ के दिखा देगा आपको यार. तो you manage, right, as a musician. So
You mentioned label, and now we have in India, we have a lot of musicians also who have created their own labels.
yes,
Correct? And when they release an artist ka song, so the access will be by the artist or the label.
very good question. So Spotify for artists is also for the rights holders who are like the aggregators and the labels, and it is also for the artists. Okay. Now a very cool thing is that if you are an artist, you get to see all the data of all your songs, regardless of which label it belongs to. So if you are an Arijit Singh today, you have released music from 10 labels and you've also released it from your own label. So you get to see data across all the labels and all the songs that you have put out wherein you have been credited as an artist. Whereas if there is an XYZ label that has put out your song, the access they get to you and all the data will be restricted to the song that they released and not all the songs that they released. They'll only get public data on your song. They'll not get all data on songs that have been released through other labels. So it's private to you as an artist.
Okay, so they can create their own login and then
Yes.
get into your system, right?
Yes. Labels
As a
also
label.
can use the same system. Yes.
Okay, and there's no separate URL for that. It's the same.
It's the same. The process is a little different. Wherein if you are a label who's going through an aggregator, like for example, if someone is going through Rebeat, as a label, I'm putting out my music through Rebeat. I will have to do the claiming process and then write to Rebeat, and Rebeat has the authority to let me claim my process because I'm going through Rebeat. So Rebeat has a login, and Rebeat's login will be used by the Rebeat admin, who will allow the sub label within Rebeat to get access to this.
Just a question, Indian genres, because हम लोग क्या हमेशा बाहर के आर्टिस्ट का ही नाम देते हैं, मतलब जैसा यहाँ रह के अंग्रेजी लोग का ही नाम देते हैं. तो इंडियन genres का what has been a popular kind of following in India on Spotify?
So this is a very good question. And when you talk about genres, okay, in India, Bollywood is called a genre, right? Actually, Bollywood is not a genre. Bollywood is a platform in which music of various genres exist. So if you look at it from a very genre perspective, we've actually put out an article where we've actually mentioned various genres that work. So Indian pop music, Indian film pop music is one of the biggest genres, obviously in India, because of the kind of in-your-face marketing that happens around that music. But apart from that, we've seen a lot of breakout genres happen thanks to Spotify coming in and the kind of work that we've done with the independent releases. Hip hop, EDM, indie pop, indie rock are the genres that are doing pretty well in Spotify within its limited fan following.
And the playlist comes up like we spoke in the last part was because of the listenership, right? इट्स नॉट कि आप लोग को पैसा मिला है करके उसको आगे धक्का मार रहे हो.
नहीं होता है ऐसा. So you have to understand that if there is a playlist called new music Hindi or a top hits Bollywood or a top hits Hindi, and if it has got 20 songs of Bollywood over there, you have to understand that it's because it's the topmost hits on the platform being consumed, and it's data driven and it's there. So if your song is going to get that kind of numbers, it will be there. But within that, if I say top hip hop songs करके एक playlist है, you're not going to find a Bollywood song over there, because it's there. If there is no hip hop in Bollywood, that's not going to go in that playlist. It might be Divine's next song, which is not a part of a Bollywood this thing, or our top EDM playlist, for example. If you have a nice EDM playlist, we have an EDM playlist called Pulse. Now, if in that EDM playlist, you're not going to find a Bollywood song there because it doesn't fit that genre. So, genre based, artist based, affinity based, mood based playlists are created like that.
I'm sure a lot of people by now have already downloaded Spotify. Huh?
I really hope it's great because it's personal. It's very personal.
So is music.
Yeah, music, exactly. I wanted to say that, music is one thing which is so personal that my music taste is never going to be as similar as yours. We might have some similar artists and similar tastes, but most of the times each individual's music taste, even within a house, is very, very different, right? So
And I don't want an app to dictate कि भाई ये गाना सुन.
yes, exactly. We want to dictate.
Who are you to tell me कि अरे इसका फिल्म का नया गाना है, चल अभी इसको लगा. मेरे को नहीं सुनने का.
Exactly. We don't want to do that. We try our best not to do it in the best possible way. And you yourself, by using the app day on day, are actually dictating what you want to see on the app. So you are dictating what you want to see on the app rather than the app telling you what you have to do.
So one main thing that all artists, I'm speaking to you as an artist side का point of view, कि account settlement period कब होता है आपका? Every month, every quarter, every year? How does that happen?
So this is not revealed directly to an artist, because I'll tell you what happens. Aditya, you have to understand that our accounts and our finance is with rights holders. Rights holders who give us the music. Now, rights holders who give us the music are people like the labels, or people like aggregators like Rebeat or Billy Orchard. So our account cycles are different with each of the labels and the aggregators based on the comfort levels between them and the agreements between them and the terms of agreement between them. As an artist, if you want to know about your account cycle, you have to know the account cycle between you and your aggregator and you and your label. So when at EMI we were there, I think royalties were given out every quarter. It's totally dependent on the aggregators' rules and regulation. I mean,
so Spotify has no role to play in that.
No, of course not, because we have a different way of paying to them, and they have a different way of disbursing the money to their rights holders.
Right. Another cool feature I find on music streaming apps is lyrics. So does Spotify have that feature?
Yes, it recently got added, and
in India also?
Yes, it's added in India also, and you get Hindi and Urdu lyrics also in it. It's from a website, a third-party website called Musixmatch, MUSIXMATCH. So if you're an independent artist putting out a song on Spotify, on all other platforms, if you go and add your lyrics to musixmatch.com, it will automatically reflect in your song on Spotify.
When should I do it?
You should do it as soon as you put it out, right? I mean, as soon as you get the UPC code of your song and the ISRC code of your song and the name of the song and artist name, use all those data, go to Musixmatch and upload your data on that. The ISRC codes go and just do a match and they throw the lyrics back to you.
Excellent. We have, Paddy, a lot of youngsters today, like हम लोग भी अपने time पे covers गाने का and stuff like that for even concerts. So today if I, because Sudeep Audio sets up home studios also, we have a lot of these young, music producers and composers who are saying कि सर खुद का गाना तो बाद में बनाऊंगा, पहला मैं XYZ famous song डाल देता हूँ, and then they put it up on YouTube, and then they put it up on the aggregator के through भी करते हैं. तो does Spotify monitor कि ये तो यार किसी और का गाना है, इसने डाल दिया, or where does that checking happen?
So the first thing, let's go down to the basics, okay? YouTube is a user-generated content platform. Anyone or anyone's dog can put out a content. The platform is made for that, right? When it comes to platforms like Spotify, anyone cannot put out a song. You have to go through a process of going through an aggregator or a label to get the song onto Spotify. When if you are an artist who wants to do a cover of some other song, the first question you should ask yourself is, if you had your original song and if someone is putting out a cover, what will you feel about it, and what do you think is going to be the process? So, or do you think there should be a process or not? 99% the answer will be yes, you need to have a process, because if someone is putting out a cover of your song, you need to make money from it, and you need to see that you also get some kind of royalties on that, right? So now that then comes the idea of what is the process. So now let's come to an artist who wants to put out a cover song. The artist has to know what label or what aggregator or which artist is the person whom you should be contacting and taking legal rights from that artist or the label to put out that song today. Now, some label might give you the rights, some might not give it. The process is very different between the Western world and in India. In India, most labels own the rights of the publishing as well as the masters. We'll not get into the details of that, but if you want, I can touch it.
No, we have several other videos on the channel where it talks about,
Yes, Ashel's videos will explain to you about publishing.
and also Parag Kamani ex EMI
Yes.
has done a video on that.
Yes, so there you'll get to know a lot of tips on that. You have to take rights, legal rights, and then you can put it out, and then you can, then it's easy. Otherwise, you should not be putting it out. And because the moment you put it out, the original artist or the label has the right to take down that content. Not only take down the content, but also sue you for putting out a content without taking their permission. So anyone putting out covers, please understand, go through the legal ways of doing things. Otherwise, you will end up either, first of all, you'll end up not making money, and secondly, you will end up probably in legal trouble because you did that.
So whether it's instrumental or a vocal,
Yeah,
permissions have to be taken.
Yes, yes, of course. I always tell an artist, if you're smart enough to be making an instrumental cover, if you're smart enough to do music, you should be smart enough to know that if you're an artist yourself, if someone made a cover of your song, you will not like it, right? You have to behave the same way when you're doing a cover of someone else.
Some musicians have asked, shall I release an album or do singles work better?
There is no right or wrong. I would say that you have to know what kind of music you're putting out and what kind of music your fans like, based on which you have to put out a EP or an album or a single with a B-side. There are various ways you can do things. Singles, the definition of a single is standalone songs. If one song is a standalone song on its own, it can become a hit on its own. It has a potential of growing with its audience on its own. A great pop song, for example, is a good example of putting out a single. And an album or an EP is generally songs that are interlinked with each other, or a bigger story that you want to say, which is distributed by 4 songs. Or if you're a progressive rock and songs moving from one to another, various, like for example, let's say you have a theme called Various Shades of Love. Now, Various Shades of Love करके एक theme सोचा है and you've made 8 songs. Just imagine you releasing 8 songs and 8 singles. It's not going to show Various Shades of Love. It's going to show one shade of love at one time. Probably putting that as an album called Various Shades of Love and putting all those shades of love and putting it out together might make more sense for someone to consume that music. So there is no right or wrong. It's about how you choose to put your music out and how your fans like to consume your music.
Right. So I can also release film score tracks, right? If I've done the background score of a film.
Of course, you have to have your rights to do it, or you have to ask the rights from the producers to give you the rights to put it out. A lot of people are doing that, by the way.
And for example, nowadays, I think today is that 100th year or something of theremin, which is basically a Moog product, So there is a theremin playlist, which is a different kind of a genre. अभी वो है ही नहीं किधर भी. तो will Spotify create a new genre if I ask the editor कि boss एक नया style आ रहा है and people across the world are creating this?
Of course, they do it all the time. They do it all the time. Where do you think all these subgenres of electronic music and subgenres of rock and subgenres of hip hop, all of them have emerged out of these kind of things that are happening around the world. So they have their eyes and ears open for that, boss, and they keep making these kind of things. And Theremin is a good example. I mean, the old original Moog synthesizers, right?
Cool. And some people have asked about the LUFS parameters, which I think I'll just put the link below.
Yes, it's got all the answers that of those questions. You'll about loudness and dB levels and mastering levels and what is acceptable and how to get it optimized. These are questions that keep coming up. They're there on that blog. You can ask them. One of the other things that is not there on the blog, which I would like to tell you, is on your app itself. When you open the app, there is a settings section where you can do a lot of settings to ensure that there is, for example, normalization between 4 tracks. You're listening to a playlist. In a playlist, one track might be mastered at a different level and the other might be mastered at a different level. So Spotify on its own does something called as a normalization, which is on the app. You can turn it off if you want those various levels of music to actually be various levels of music. So you can turn it off. There is an EQ section where you can change your EQs. There is a gapless playback section that you can put on. You can decide how many seconds of gapless playback you want between one song merging into another song.
So basically, it's better to pay for the app. And
that I really feel that you should do as if you're a music listener, if you're a person who listens to about 20 songs in a week, even 20, if you're listening to 20 songs in a week or you're listening to one song 20 times in a week, I think you should pay for your music. I don't know how to explain it, but if you just compare it to any subscription service, if you just compare it to a Coke bottle that you buy or a beer can that you buy or something is 1 month of subscription, right? Like a Spotify subscription is similar to buying a pint of beer. Yeah.
correct. And right now, for a year, it is 1,000 rupees. So it is.
For a year, it's 1,000. Like that's like ordering a pizza home for 4 people for one meal is going to go more than that. Yeah? And you're getting a year's subscription with 1,000. You're paying back to the industry. You're paying back artists because you got for $1,000 a year.
And since this video 99% is being watched by artists only, I would recommend they please go for the subscription model.
I really feel we should do that, and I think
it's a healthy way of giving back.
Yeah, and chicken and egg situation, Aditya, you'll be surprised. So many artists I have met, not to demean or put anyone down or anything, but so many artists come and ask us that they want to know about Spotify. They haven't even downloaded the app. So it's a very, and there are so many people going on social media and shouting about streaming, and not just about Spotify, just about streaming in general. And they don't even have an app and they have not even streamed in their life. They're just shouting. So I feel unless you test the waters yourself, unless you know, and there is this question about, I keep getting asked this question, whether a label is good or an aggregator is good, or whether labels are evil. They're not. Yeah? I mean, don't listen to other people and do some. When you're putting out your music, go and show it to each and every label. Go and show it to each and every aggregator. Let them decide whether they want to work with you or not. And there will be a time in your life when they will want to work with you. Make yourself as established as possible so that they want to work with you. Most of the biggest acts in the world, Aditya, are not signed because they went and spoke to a label. It's because they went and performed, they went and put out their music, a label head saw them somewhere, liked them and called them to their office and signed them. It's a story that everybody knows about. You can't think that you will put out music and someone should come and approach you and make you a hit. It's not very easy to do that, right? 1 in a million chance of that happening. So same way about music consumption also. Don't make false claims unless you've downloaded the app and seen it yourself. Become an artist. Put out a song. 100 streams that an artist makes out of a song that it's put out. That itself is testimony of where that artist is actually creating. Without creating content, you're talking about an artist not making money. I don't think it's right.
So speaking about this money-making business, yes, it is important because the artist also has invested his creativity or her writing skills or music production, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And yes, making money is important, but if it doesn't click with the audience, you know that it is not working.
Yeah, absolutely.
right? And so you
Absolutely.
should keep on doing this. You can't just give up after one song or a couple of songs. And
Yes, and times have changed. Times have changed, so we evolve with times. And everybody, like if you remember music, and this is something, it's my pet topic that I talk about. That there was a time when music was very exclusive to a darbar of a king or a courtyard of a king in Europe. Whether classical music you talk about or whether you talk about Hindustani, you actually had to go to a particular place to listen to music, right? And you had to be among an exclusive club of people who were actually allowed to be there also. From then on, when music came onto a gramophone or something like that, people could actually listen to music at home. The music was limited to the limitations of the device. The gramophone could only have 5 minutes of music. So if someone had to make music which is only 5 minutes, otherwise till then music was one song was 1 hour long, right? And how could you put it in a gramophone? You couldn't. So someone came up with 5 minute music. That's how pop songs evolved. So all those artists who made one hours of music, they had to evolve to become a 5 minute song creator. They evolved, and then came CDs. Then you had to evolve to make something for CDs. Then came MTV. Then you had to make music videos. Everybody evolves, and now is the time of digital. You have to evolve, and I really feel that's the whole story of how music has evolved, and we have to change with the times. And people who are early adopters become more successful early. Doesn't mean that someone who adopts later doesn't be successful. There are people who have adopted something late, but they've become extremely successful. So there is no right or wrong again over there. Just keep moving, keep doing, and be positive about your music. Believe in your music. Share your music. Talk to people about your music. Get good feedback about your music. I think
मतलब थोड़ा बेशर्म बनना पड़ेगा. You can't just say कि अरे मैं अपना घर में बैठ के गाना बना के हार्ड डिस्क में रखूंगा. थोड़ा सा you have to come out.
I mean, that is if you want your music to grow. There are a lot of people who feel that I'm putting out music for myself and मैं डाल रहा हूँ. If people want to listen, fine. If the people don't want to listen, not, it's fine, because I'm making music and I'm making it for myself. Then don't complain that your streams are less, because you have not done anything from your side as to current times, as to what is what is required and what other people are doing, right? So if someone is successful and you are not, it's also where you have to find how you can be as successful as that other person and finding ways to do it.
Working on the reverse money cycle, we have subscribers who pay you as a monthly or a annual,
Yeah.
or we have ads for the free model,
Yes.
right? And that money from your side with your calculations goes to the aggregator or the label,
Yes.
and that label or the aggregator gives the money to the royalty society, and then the royalty society spreads the money to the creators.
This is this part of it. The last part of it is when it comes to publishing. When it comes to your masters, the aggregator gives you directly if you have tied up with the aggregator. So everybody asks about how Spotify pays, right? I'll give you mota moti. Spotify pays every 100 rupees that we earn from your music, we give back 70% to the rights holders, and we approximately keep about 30% or lesser on running our business, running our servers, our salaries, our infrastructure, our technology that we invest in. All that is within that 30% that we do from the money that we make. 70% is given back. That 70% is with the aggregator. Aggregator decides how much of that to be given to the artist who is signed up with the aggregator or the label, depending on the agreement that they have made between the two. So some will have 30% share, some will have 40%, some will have 50%, some will have 80% share of that, some will have 98% share. You have to know which aggregator to go to and who's giving you the greatest deal, which label is giving you the greatest deal, and go with them. And the part that goes to the collection society, that's the publishing income which comes from that within that 70. So some part of it is master royalty and some part of it is publishing royalty. Publishing royalty goes to the rights collection body, and if you're a member of the rights collection body, the rights collection body directly pays it to you.
So as an independent artist or a new band that is coming up, they can also become publishers themselves. They don't have to go through a label.
Course, all you have to do is then just sign up with a rights collection body like an IPRS today in India, and they will pay you. It's very simple to get signed up over there.
And then go through an aggregator like Rebeat, for example, and then release your music on Spotify.
Yes, yes.
Correct. Then you don't have anybody else in the picture.
Yes, yes.
Right. Cool. Now we have this very cool feature of Spotify called Wrapped.
Yeah.
Which shows up in every December, I believe.
Yes.
So we have this Rap 2020 right now, which is going on, which you can get through your artist dashboard.
Yes.
So what do I do of it? I mean, how does it feels great. 92 countries में मेरा गाना चला. So उसका मैं करूँ क्या? If you can, I mean, I know क्या करूँ, but for viewers, if you could tell, what can they make out of this data?
There is a lot of data on it. Okay, it's a and in this year's rap, it was all about thanking the fans for the kind of shares that have happened, or for the kind of music that you. So ultimately, it's you and your fans, right? If you're an artist, it's you and people who are listening to your music. So that rap data, what all said and done, is about how your fans consume your music, and so it's a thank you note from you to your fans. So how best you want to share it, how best you want to use it at the end of the year to thank your fans, is what works. And it really works because you connect with your fans on social media, and there is that whole thing about fans feeling grateful for seeing you put those numbers out and saying, and they feel a part of it, right? If I'm a fan of that artist, I'm so happy to see that artist put out a data, and feeling like, yeah, I'm one of those people over there who has contributed to this artist's success, and I feel great about it because I really like the artist. So it's more of a thanksgiving and a gratitude thing rather than showing off. A lot of people think it's about showing off the total number of listeners I have or something. It's not about showing off, it's a gratitude that these are the total number of people I have, and there is always room for more, there is always room for growing. And so it's not a show off testimonial, it's a testimonial of thanksgiving. That's what we feel Wrapped is all about. There's nothing else to it. I don't want to, there is nothing to read between the lines in the Wrapped data.
Excellent. And I think Spotify has done a wonderful job in kind of making this an artist community, and also it's like by artists for the artist. It makes me feel as a very democratic and open platform.
Yeah, and you will be surprised, Aditya, that an artist gets two cards. The artist gets his own report card on how his fans have consumed his music, and the artist gets a report card of what he has consumed as music also. So a lot of artists actually share their cards where their card shows some other artist as their biggest top artist or something like that. So it's like a testimonial to the other artist. Like an artist is saying, "Hey, I love your music so much that see my rap is showing that I heard a lot of your music."
It's a very healthy practice.
It's a superb practice, and the fans of that artist are going to appreciate you sharing that, because they're going to say that this is a great artist. This artist is liking that other artist, so I should start listening to this artist and finding out what this artist does, and that's discovery medium.
No, that's beautiful. So, Paddy, thanks for giving us so much time and also explaining things in so much detail.
Thank you.
So, just as a wrap up for us, a 2020 wrap up for us, if you could say कि मैं वो आर्टिस्ट हूँ जिसके रिलेटिव ने मेरे को गिटार पकड़ाया, जो उसके दीवार पे था, मैंने गाना सीखा, I learned music, I create a song on my home studio, it's an original. What would you tell an artist like that who's starting off, who's looking at building a career in this industry as a composer or lyricist or singer? What would you be, in a very nutshell, to a journey from zero to hero on Spotify?
So I would say, first of all, congratulations that you're putting out your first song, and really hope that it's not the only song that you put out. And there is a very good chance that this first song that you put out becomes a big hit because you've caught the pulse of the audience. There's a very good chance that this song might not do well at all because it did not catch the pulse of an audience, because you did not know how this, nobody knows. What I would want to tell you is, believe in yourself. Do not believe in any bullshit given by anybody on telling you how this song is. Nobody has a right to tell you ये अच्छा गाना है, ये बुरा गाना है, ये इसमें ये अच्छा नहीं है, इसमें drums डालो, इसमें guitar, इसमें sax. Nobody has a right to say that. Your song is your song. Create it, put it out, test the waters, find out whether it's doing well or not, and then work on your next song. Work on the next song after that. Keep putting out content. If you're a creator with a creative mind, keep putting out content as soon as you get that idea. If that idea is coming weekly to you, put out songs on a week. If that idea is coming once a month, put it out once a month. If it's coming once a year, put it out once a year. Don't stop your creative process. and there is a good chance, and which is what has happened in the past for certain artists, the 10th song becomes a big hit, but after the 10th song becomes a big hit, that first song that you put out, which did not get any attention that day, is now going to become a big hit, because now your fans want to hear more and they want to hear your past recordings, and they'll come out with a gem saying, hey, this is a great gem that the artist has released earlier. So don't give up. Don't give up on anything. In fact, this is the same as any work experience, right? There's a lot of work that I've done in the past, and when I look back upon it, like I don't know why I spent 10 years in software, why I spent 3 years in a music label, or so. All those years have been golden years for me, from where all those years have actually been valuable for what I am today. It's the same way of all those songs that you created, and that one hit is going to be the testimonial of all those things that you've done. So please don't give up hope. It is, I think, creating music is a gift that very few people have. If you have that gift of creating original music, please be at it. There will be a better time for us when audiences also appreciate, with more discerning ears in India, hopefully. Education in music, I think, is lacking in the country, but I think that will change a lot of things. But be positive as an artist. You can just become a overnight success, boss. Don't let success get into your head. Let's keep putting out music.
Paddy, on that note, once again, thank you. And it was wonderful talking to you and knowing so much about Spotify, that it's a great tool, like I said again. And I wish you and the Spotify India team the very best.
Thanks, Aditya, and it's been really, really wonderful chatting with you. And one thing that we missed out in this conversation is your knowledge about music, your knowledge about creating simple things like setting up a home studio. I really feel that we should now very soon have a podcast episode of you talking to yourself and giving tips to these artists, and
Sure.
putting out all these beautiful knowledge that you have of your own. And I know you have a lot of knowledge.
Thank you so much. And we'll do that definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paddy.
Thank you.